So today we'll be talking about trends, the trend in the market. It is important for every trader to understand the current trend in the market before you jump into taking any trend. So it's very important. So understanding trend will give you the great approach into the market because you understand where you are headed. So it's very important for us to know where we are headed. So today we are going to talk about this trend. Now, I've made a little indications which will help us to navigate into the market and get a little understanding about the trends. So now we can say that this is a SAUUSD gold, and I'm starting with 4 hours time frame. You can see that the trend has been coming from uptrend. You can see that the trend has been coming from uptrend down to this place, and something happened around this zone. Something happened around this zone, this whole zone. Something happened there, and I think every trader must understand what happened there, and I'm going to explain if you don't understand. Now you can see the market has been moving this way. Now something happened there. Market created what we call low here. This is lower low. This is lower low. The reason why it is called lower low is because it is the it is the it keeps taking out all the lows in the market. So something happened, then the market moves up. Market moved up to create another high. This is high. Market created this high, comes back, create another low, goes up and created another high. Now this is where everything changed, and I'm starting to explain from here. Now you can understand the market created lower low here, went up to create a high and came down. And the market, unfortunately, the market could not create a low which will be lower than this particular low, but it's also a low, but it's not lower than this. Now we can now say that this low now is now higher low. You can say that this one now is higher low because now this particular low now is lower low, is the lowest, and this is now the higher low, showing that the market has created a low that is higher than this particular one. It is a sign that the trend has the boost and in the market. So therefore the trend is now about to change. We now call this as higher low. The market now created what we say higher low. You understand? Then market went up. The market went up and also created this particular one. This is now high. We can now say this is high. This is a new high. Because why? This high is not higher than any other high here. There's no high here that this particular high is higher than. So therefore, we're just going to call it a high, a new high. Then the market went up to create another high here, showing that we now have a higher high. Now this particular high is now higher than this particular one. That is why we call it higher high. This is a confirmation that the bulls are in the market. The bulls are already in the market. So therefore, the trend has completely changed. The trend has completely changed. So this is now an indication that the trend are in, the bulls are in the market. So as this trend keep moving, it created another low. It created another low and keep moving up. Created another higher high, showing that this particular high is also higher than this one. We also call it higher high. It came down and created a low, which we also see as higher low. It went up and created higher high. This is how the market keep moving. Then we now understand that the trend in the market has changed because now we now have a series of higher high and higher low, higher high and higher low. So is a great indication for us to know that the the trend is moving. Is an indication for us to know that the trend is moving. So I will keep indicating it so that whenever you see it any day, it will be easier for you to spot. Now when I will keep having what you see as higher high, higher low, higher high and higher low, showing that the trend is moving. This is also a low, this is also a high. Now I will not regard this particular one as higher high for now. I will not regard this one as high. I will just regard it as a high. It's also a high. So I will go down to 1 hour time frame so that I can elaborate this and you understand it better. Now, in 1 hour time frame, in 1 hour time frame, okay, we can also say that this high is also equal to this high. So you can just see it as a high. Then we'll now take this one as the surviving higher high. We take it to this one as high because this particular high is higher than this one. So we'll now say that this particular one is the surviving higher high in this trend. This is the surviving higher high in this trend. This particular one now. This one is the surviving higher high in this particular trend. So it's safe for us to say that this is now the only higher high. So now we are going to look at this thing in a more simpler form for us to understand. We keep seeing higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. But something happened here. This being the surviving higher high, and there is no other high which can take out this particular high. No other highs here that have come up to take out this particular high. We are now seeing what you see as lower high because now the market has now created what you see as lower high. I just hope this my explanation is clear. Now because the market came down to produce what you see as low because now this low is above all these lows. Now the market created what you see as low, came up and created higher low because this high is now lower than this one. Now we can now say this trend has changed from bullish to bearish because the bears are now in the market because the trend has started creating what you see as lower high. This is it, and this is lower low because now this low is now lower than this one. Then we keep moving. This low is lower than this one. We say this is a lower high. We keep going down, we keep going down, and we keep going down. So this is how we understand the trends. This is the easiest way for us to understand the trend in the market. So I can as well bring it down to this place and say this is my lower low. This is now my lower low and this is now my lower high. And come down to this place and say this is now the lower low. This is the reason why I say this is now my lower low now is there is no other low lower than this one. And something also happened here. I will go down to 30 minutes and it will look more clearer. Now the market created lower low, but market went up to create another high. This high unfortunately did not take out this particular high. So I will not just say it's a high because it's higher than every other thing that is happening around this place. So it's a high. And the market came down and created a low. And this low is lower than this one. This low is higher than this one. Then I want to say this is higher low. It shows that the trend changed again. Now we are now moving from downtrend to uptrend. So we now say this is higher high because this high now is higher than this particular high. We say this is higher high and we say this is higher low. So as simple as that, I'm going to indicate this particular one to show that this trend has changed. This is now a new higher low. This is now a new higher low in the market. So with understanding of this thing, of this my explanation, you will now know that the trend in the market keep moving until a fail in the production of a previous high or a previous low. Now, when I say, now this is the current market movement. The market moved up and created a high which is above this particular high. Now, when I say that this place looks like a resistance point, so we're now hoping for a market to give us a reversal to at least this zone before going up. We're now waiting for the market to give us a new higher low before going up. We are waiting for the market to give us a new higher low. Now, something is tricky here. Something is tricky here. Now, I want to say, if this market comes down here, keep coming down and get to this point, does it mean that the trend has changed to bearish movement? No, we cannot say so. Even the market has the right to come down to this place, this point, without we now saying that the market has changed. The only way we can now identify that the trend in the market has changed is when the market drops here and come back to respect this particular zone, maybe creating something like this, then keep dropping. This is only way I will say that the trend has changed. If the market drops and keep creating something like this way, this way, and this way, then I will not say that the market has changed and the market has now started creating a new movement. So with understanding of this explanation now, this is the best approach for you to understand a trend in the market. Uptrend is a situation when the market keep producing higher highs and higher lows. And downtrend is a situation where the market keep producing lower highs and lower lows. So this understanding, this is my pure explanation of trend movement.